never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Hello, folks. How are you? Welcome to Friday. Well, Friday night. Some of you may have just woken up. I wouldn't know who I'd be alluding to there. Maybe it's just the beginning of your Friday, and you're only just beginning to see the start of it. Not talking about anybody, but, you know. There you go. Disappearing all over the place. Anyway, may have lost that gag in transmission there, but we'll see how it goes. Hey, Vincenzo will be joining us very shortly, the Waving Wonder. And we will be having a fairly interesting discussion tonight on all wonderful things that we try and bring you. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of the weird stuff tonight, being a free-for-all, so we'll see what happens. I know Paul 01 likes that, don't you, Paul? I hope you're doing all right. First in the house tonight at a 25 to 6. Well done, mate. And followed by, gee, you were talkative, line by line. What the? Second in the house after that. And following that, Aussie Sue. Following her advice, as always, folks. What the was in there? G'day, Gail. Hope you're doing okay. Jan. Oh, God, I haven't rung you, Jan. Jan, I hope you're probably not going to. You're on the Gold Coast tonight. I'm going to send you a text message after the show. If Vince gets talking, I might just send you a text message during the show. And I'll try and reach out to you tomorrow on your way past, because I know you have some relish, and you and I have discussed your relish before. Lovely. Can't wait to taste. Love it. Already tasted it, so I'm pretty sure this is the same relish I tasted. Well, not the same. It'd be a bit old, but similar. Charlie 2 Alpha Lima. Hope you're in, dude. Robert, nice to have you in. Gotta love music industry, folks. It's corrupt to the bone. Thank you, Paul. Ain't that the truth? It was quite surprising, you know. We're getting into stories. When I first got into radio, I was very lucky to get close. Lucky? I guess at the time I was, but I was lucky to get close to one of the touring companies at the time, and there were different levels of touring companies. There were the big dainty group, if you like, as we would call them today. That's not what they were called back in the day, but he was around doing, I don't know, Barbra Streisand or something probably. But there were different levels of entertainers, and if you were doing, back in the 80s, you were a promoter of pub bands, and you had a national artist who was a really good pub band. I'm thinking, say, Pseudo Echo or the Uncanny X-Men or Mental as Anything to a certain degree. I remember Moving Pictures. Anyway, those kinds of artists were all handled essentially by one or two touring companies. And I knew a bloke who got out of radio and got a job with one of those, and I got to see him progress through the industry from a distance. And one day, when we want to talk demonic stories, we might talk about him. It was very interesting to watch. And then, of course, over the years, I got to see the music industry from probably a very different perspective to what people who are outside of it do, and especially people who are actually on the inside of it, as Paul, you were, being a musician, no doubt. We didn't really get to see that kind of end of the corruption. We got a different sort of corruption at radio stations, and it all came down to getting the song played, getting whatever they needed played, getting whatever they had to have pushed. And of course that resulted in creating music stars, music industry heroes, a number of which have died off recently, and same with movie stars. They seem to be falling off this mortal coil. Daniel, trust you are doing well down there in Canberra tonight, and you are warm. Speaking of warm, I posted a thing on my Facebook page yesterday. You might need to scroll back through it if you're not part of my Facebook page. Forget what you're about to hear. but it was to do with the diesel heater and bringing a little extra heat inside your. In his case, it was a shed or a shack, and what a very, very effective way he figured out to do it. Now, there are some safety concerns. You would want a carbon monoxide monitor close by, but if you were going to do that, I'm thinking we might be able to do. We're going to see if it works. I have a man who knows a lot about gases, hot things, welding, and all that sort of stuff. He laughed at me when I suggested maybe we could make a pack and help people put this together for themselves. They put it together, I mean, but we just make it safe and do it for what I thought was a pretty good amount of money. And he roared laughing and said, I don't do that kind of thing for that kind of money. I never have. He said, I don't even think about things like that for that kind of money, Carl. What are you thinking? So I may have underestimated, in fact, what we're talking about here. But on a cold night, if you're in a tent, or if you're in a, not so much a tent, but if you're in a caravan or an old motorhome or leaky old shed somewhere, this could be a very, very, very cheap, warm solution for you. If not this winter, then maybe next. And when I say cheap, I mean, well, there'll be a cost to it, but I can say it would probably be, without upsetting too many people, under $1,000 for everything. Pretty good sort of a deal. Hello, Giselle. Hello, Donna. G'day, Ian. Trust you're doing all right there up on the Gulf, or is that where you are tonight? You're probably sitting around a campfire there with your brother carrying on. Joanne, trust you are well, and it's Friday night. We probably haven't got Wayno in yet. The lovely Sandy from the Donkey Sanctuary, the best relish ever. Can you please send her a text, Jan a text, and let her know that my plan is, or just give my phone number to her, will you please, Sandy, and just say call me, not while the show's on, but I don't want to, they might be on a romantic date night on the Gold Coast tonight, you know what I'm saying, Jan and her husband. Sorry, Sandy and I are having an intimate conversation. Jan caught up with Sandy, bringing the best relish ever to the Donkey Sanctuary, not shared with the donkeys. Baz will have wrapped his paws around that one pretty solidly too, I'd imagine. Paul Orchard, trust you are well, brother. Haven't seen your name for a little while. Natasha Zokoskovoskovi. I trust you are well, Natasha. What a beautiful name. I always loved the name Natasha. I've not really said it like that. Oh, I guess I have said it like that, because there used to be a cartoon, Boris and Natasha, many, many moons ago. Was that on Rocky and Bullwinkle? God, we're having a throwback tonight. And on that note, I think I'm really just about at the bottom. Bruna, lovely, 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 lovely to have you in, Bruna, and thank you for the gift. We can talk about that in a moment with Vince as well. But thank you dearly. The Sabinator is back in the house. Haven't seen your name floating around for a while, Sab. Good to have you back, and I trust you are well. Haven't been working too hard. And my mate from Pinaroo, Pete, well, I was going to say something dirty then, I won't. G'day, Pete. Hope you're doing well. I did try and call you. You've been having connection issues. You must be in the paddock doing, well, paddock things, I suppose. Little diesel heater's awesome for emergency heat as well. I hear you, Richard. Absolutely. You've just unloaded a ute and a trailer load of straw, Sandy. That doesn't sound like a pleasant thing to do. Why are you doing it? You've got a big man with strong muscles. And when I say big man, I mean he's a bloody... And from memory, he has a little tractor with a fork thing on it. Could drag it all off. Anyway, what do I know about unloading straw? Yeah, thank you, Sandy. Appreciate you doing that. That'll be great for me. It'll at least make sure that somehow we get in contact. Tony, love your work. Nice to have you in. I think we're just about at the bottom of it. And at that point, at the very bottom of things, I'll bring in a man who is always good for a lift, particularly if he waves really, really fast, because it always brings us up. Hello, brother.
Hey, mate, how you going? How's everybody
I'm
out
very,
there
very
in
good.
the viewership land?
Are we going to go a little a cappella 1, 2, 3 in honour of Bill Oddie?
Ah,
Do,
the
do you know
goodies.
what I'm? Yes.
Da-da-da-da-dum-dum.
Goodies, goody,
Da-da-da-da-dum.
goody, yum,
Dum-dum.
yum.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to watch those goodies all the time. Tim Brooke Taylor and
Timing
Bill
was never
Oddie.
your thing in choir, though, was it? Really?
No, never. Don't even ask me to sing. I can't sing for nuts. And even if you had nuts, I still wouldn't sing for them. But yeah.
Yeah, very sad, Bill Oddie, but he was into the Birds. Uh, he wrote all the music for the Goodies. He wrote a couple of episodes and directed a number of the series. Um, but aside from all of that, he was a big bird watcher. And his latter years were spent doing sort of National Geographic sort of stuff for the BBC's bird watching channel. And he was the head of the British Birdwatchers Association. And it just meant he liked to sneak around in the bushes a bit, which was the person he portrayed pretty strongly on the Goodies, from what I remember. Um, one of my favourite episodes was Icky Thump, the old Welsh martial art of Icky Thump, where they have these big flat hats and a black pudding where they belch over the head with it. You know,
Oh, yes, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. Icky Thump. That was always a bloody good one. There were so many, if I'm honest, so many. And it was a great hour of ABC television, which, of course, we would never see these days. The ABC these days, of course, is nothing more but absolute biased crap, as we are all aware. But yeah, that used to be a great hour. The Goodies and Doctor Who.
Yep. Remember that with fond memories. Many memories.
I'll admit, it was back when Doctor Who wasn't gay or trans, or, I mean, he was alien enough at that stage. He had two hearts. I've been told that these days, I haven't watched a Doctor Who episode in years, but I've been told these days one has to wonder if he has a heart at all. So, don't know.
Oh, well, some of the later versions were quite good. And if you put aside the wokeism of it, even though then some of the episodes were good. It's just
did they have woke aliens?
Destroyed.
Or did the aliens
destroyed? Yes, they did.
Did they have woke aliens?
They even got David Tennant to do they did a whole section in one of the Doctor Who shows to do with understanding sexism, etc., with David Tennant. And if I was David Tennant, I would have refused to do it personally. But yeah.
Have you seen Good Omens?
Depends on what you say. I mean, Doctor Who's dead.
Oh, no. Good Omens, just let me bring it up so I can remember who the hell is in it aside from David Tennant. Good Omen is a Prime, Amazon Prime program that stars two British actors. The second one we would all know and love, whose name I can't immediately bring to mind, and the information bit doesn't want to tell me. But they play two angels. One, Azraphale, who is a supreme archangel, and the other, who is this guy's character, Tennant's character, is Crowley, who is the devil's angel on
Archangel.
Earth.
Yes, I have actually seen that. Yes.
They are working against the second coming, and I haven't seen the end of Series 2. In fact, I didn't see the beginning of Series 2 at all. I may have seen a certain one or two bits in the middle of Series 2. Series 1 is bloody hilarious. It takes a little bit to get into. It's a very strange, queer, quaint comedy. But Series 2 takes a decided turn towards the very queer. And at the end of it, they turn gay, and I think they go off with each other, or there is a huge coming together, so to speak, and then they don't go off. Anyway, there is now a series, or season 2, or season 3, which is a 1.5 hour movie they've made. I haven't brought myself to watch it yet, but I did see a teaser for it where, once again, they do appear to be very rainbow orientated, but pretty angry about it. So things might be changing. I don't know. I speak out of turn, having not watched it. But
Yeah, no, well, that's true.
over the
And
week.
yes, like what they said, Time Lords don't die, just the BBC does. To answer your question.
Ain't that the truth? What the? Ain't that the truth? In your honour, brother, I've got the
Harmonica.
C harmonica sitting out here. Now, people, before we get stuck into things, want to mention this to you, bring this to your attention. This is the Farmers Fight Back fundraiser in Victoria. If you are in sort of or around the Wimmera area, Manu. So what's close to Manu? Sananad, Rapanyup, Stall. I guess Bendigo's within an hour. Horsham is about an hour, maybe just a fraction over. Ararat maybe an hour from Manu. And coming up on the 29th of August, there is at the Manu Cricket Ground a big night for Farmers Fight Back fundraising. It starts at 6 o'clock with the gates opening, and Pauline Hanson will be on site that night. It's going to be a big country town get together, and Tony, our magnificent Melbourne stringer, is going off. He's paid his $50. He's ready for his what I'm pretty confident will be a lamb/beef fairly hearty meal that they will put on. And by the looks of it, we might have our South Australian interviewer and stringer going all the way over there as well, rather than flying me down. We thought we'd polish Vince's head up and put him into the wind and send him over there. It's only 4.5 hours in the Holden, so Vincenzo, you're going to get there too.
Yeah, I'm going to certainly make every effort, unless, of course, I suffer some sort of illness, something which I've been not well for the last couple of months. So, but effectively, I'm going over there. Hopefully, we can get a chance to get an interview with Pauline, and we'll certainly interview the crowd and bits and pieces as well. So, with any luck, you'll see me there.
It'll be a bloody great night, I am sure, and make sure you make yourself known to Tony. Details, if you want to go back, before I go on to what's happening in China, you've seen now, you can go to the farmersfightback.org, I think it is, page. I can't see that there, it's too small on my screen. But get yourself a $50 meal ticket and get along. You might be able to ask yourself a few questions of Pauline. And the new member for Ripon will be, or potential member for Ripon, I'm sure. Manu falls into Ripon, which I thought was going to be announced today, Vince, but you've only just woken up, so maybe it's early next week. Pauline Hanson will be announcing the other Victorian candidates, but I'm sure that whoever is standing for One Nation in and around that area will be with Pauline Hanson at the Manu Cricket Club on the 29th, and we will hope to get close to her. Of course, she will have quite the media scrum with her, and rightly so, as it looks at this very point in time that even with only 8 names attributed to One Nation, they can run the state from there. Everybody, if there were only 8 people Victorians could vote for, they'd all vote for those 8 people. There'd be nobody else put up. It's quite amazing what people are seeing. Before I move on to, sorry, Vince.
It's just going to show that there's a lot more people awake around Australia than there ever has been in a long time, right? And there's many reasons why we're seeing this as it comes along. So 100%. Each story that comes out, the 519 times I plead the fifth from Fauci, etc. Whatever it was.
Every little bit helps to wake them up, doesn't it? Every little bit helps to wake them up, and yet what they're doing is sort of shrugging when you hear. And I'll give you an example of this a little later on. I played it to you before, Vince. Before we move on, I want to thank Bruno, who's in the chat this evening, and Margaret, who have sent me a bottle of Miracle Tonic. I got the tonic, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest tonic in the world for you. Well, this one just might be the greatest tonic in the world. It's very much like the one that I was telling you about Dwayne was using while we were on the property, and it was rejuvenating his limbs, turning his hair from grey back to its blonde. It generally made him a nicer person, although he was difficult to get near very early in the morning after he'd had a swig of this, because there is a lot of garlic in it, a lot of ginger, a lot of apple cider vinegar, and a few other very, very good things. This has honey, this has a bit of apple in it, this has some black seed oil in it too, lemon, and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, this is designed to be drunk in a cup that is very small. I would tell you how many mils that exactly is if I could read it. I'm assuming 30. Oh, there you go, 30 mils. I only had one today. I could nearly have 1.5, I think, and be quite happy. It is just magnificent. Now, thank you, ladies. Thank you for sending this to me. I believe that this is purchasable, but I've got to find out whether or not that is the case before I start plugging them. And I better have more than one little cup of it, just in case I turn blue over the weekend and you don't see me Monday. So, thank you, girls, though. I really appreciate that. Very good for the inside. And I want to do a cleanse. I want to do a parasite cleanse, because I have discovered that while I've been loving on these dogs here, I'm not exactly sure when the last time they had a worming tablet was. And it got me thinking, maybe I should do the dogs, and maybe I should do me. Doing the dogs is an expensive exercise, but doing me is probably something worth investing in. And the dogs and I are going to have to come to an accommodation. So we'll see what happens. But yes, let's move on, shall we? I'm sure the accommodation we won't come to will be as simple as the one that seems to have appeared for rapists in China. I'm not sure that here is exactly the right words, but here! 3 child rapists executed in one day. China makes the cases public and sends a very clear message. No mercy for those who harm children. We need a little bit more of that happening in Australia. Isn't it funny? The Chinese can get us to agree with some of their more totalitarian things, particularly for those who would hurt children. And yet, if we were to say, yes, China, bring that to Australia, but don't bring anything else, they'd laugh at us. Although they've already got their surveillance cameras progressively being moved out across the country. So America is fighting back with these flock cameras. There are over 1,500, no, I beg your pardon, there are over 8,000 flock cameras now in America. Flock Safety is an American private company that has developed this network of cameras that you can put up in your house, or it can be put along your streets. And obviously law enforcement have been big investors in this. Councils have been big investors in this. And they essentially take a digital photograph of every car that goes past, but so much more. And if you go to flocksafety.com, you can have a look at their video. These cameras, as I say, are not yet, as far as I am aware, available or even being tested in Australia, but they are probably not far away. I did also see a supposedly new safety camera. I don't think I captured a video. This was a grey box that looked more like the TARDIS had a shit and left it on the side of the road. It had a wedged back to it and a very flat front. It was just dumped on the side of the road, no wheels. It was dumped on the side of the road in the safety lane, taking photos of people driving past in their cars. Now, people thought it was a speed camera. It's not a speed camera. It's actually a facial identity camera, as well as a speed camera. So it's taking your photo as well as all the details of your vehicle. However, I'm pretty confident it was an AI construct, because that would not last too long. Somebody in a truck would have an accident and smash straight into it, and it would be costing people a lot of money to replace it. But what you will find is, because of the flat face, it's something that they will be building into walls. And all of the back of that grey area, it's, if you like it, it's armadillo-like, if you like it. That's what it sort of looks like. All of that will be how they access the electronics and whatever they need to fix inside it, which will be sheltered inside the building that, think of it as a security or surveillance system for inside a jail, for instance. Just in one wall, there's all these sorts of different cameras that are monitoring every individual and what they're doing, where they're going throughout the shoe. I think they're probably already in there in some places. Maybe not in Australia, but they're coming. So watch out for flock cameras. That's a bad thing. We do not want to play that game. Vincenzo, I've got a sneaking suspicion you might be one of these people, but did you know anyone when you were growing up in school that, they were a decent enough person, they weren't much of a footy player, they weren't much of a cricketer, good batsman, if you could get the bat on the ball, but not much of a runner, not much, not terribly sporting, but was always around to help around the community if something needed to be done, around the club, around the footy club, around the cricket club, whatever. Do you remember growing up with someone like that?
There's 2 or 3 people that I can sort of think back on that were more inclined to help people and groups than others. Yeah. Not that you hear much from them. They're sort of quiet heroes.
So I grew up with a guy who I'm ashamed to say I had a sort of an on and off friendship with, and only until sort of Form 3 or Year 9 or whatever it was, because after that I went to boarding school, which sort of separated me from the guys in that little hometown, until I came back and was playing cricket after boarding school and playing cricket in town and all that kind of thing. But he wasn't playing cricket by then. He was actually umpiring. I don't know if he was umpiring cricket or not, but he was umpiring the football. And I remember the Mortlake under-16 team was not a good football team when I was playing with it. And that would have been in the late 80s, the late 70s. It was a shithouse team. We used to get beaten by 100 points a game. If we kicked a goal, we celebrated. It wasn't beyond us to kick 2 or 3 points in a match, but if we kicked a goal, we celebrated. I was 5'7". I got a gig at full forward because at training I was the only one who could kick the ball through the goals. That's the sort of team we had at that time. And Mark Gunning probably had the good sense not to want to play with us. However, we used to take the piss out of him mercilessly because he took up umpire training. Now, it was unheard of at the time that anybody we knew would pick up a whistle and take themselves out onto the field to be abused so broadly and so consistently as only people who know you and go to school with you can do. Very, very brave of him. And I do remember that at one point the Umpiring Association did have to come down and say, because he became quite a senior umpire in the, at least from what I remember, of the country league that we were playing in, the AFL Country League in Western Victoria. He became a very senior umpire in there, and he was getting, abused by people who knew him on the ground and didn't have much respect for him. And he stood his ground every step of the way. And back in those days, he might have had to have reported some of those players and then turned up to school with them the next day. And I guess at the time, I didn't really think too much about it. Anyway, over the years, I've lost touch with him. He had a sister, Mary, lovely girl. I remember her very fondly. I remember her, Gary Justin and Leanne Hampson and I did ABBA one 70s year on the May Day float parade. I'm glad there's no video around of that from days gone by.
I wish there was.
For those wondering, I can tell you that I was Benny, the piano player. Or was I?
Yes, now we're wondering.
Well,
why is there not video of that? Why is there not video of that? Come on, really?
Oh, Vince, there can't be video of that. It would
Well,
have
somebody,
been 19...
okay, the call is out. We need video of that. Anybody from that era, or that town, Can you find that? The email address is vince@theofhq.com. And I'd love to have that. Just some blackmailing material. That would be fantastic.
God knows what. It'll all be shot on Super 8. It would have been 1977 or 78 May Day parade. I want to say ABBA's Arrival. Is that the one with the helicopter on the front? I think that came out in 1977. So I would say it would be 1977 or 78. We didn't move to Mortlake till 76, so it was early in the days. Might have been 79, possibly. But I think we were in high school in 1980, so... look, could have been anywhere between there and, say, 80... Well, end of 80... When did I go? Boarding school, 82, 81. It's all a blur. Long time ago, but somewhere between 77 and 81. And if you've got video, keep it to yourself. I'd appreciate that. At any rate...
Oh, right. So that big spill was just to tell you don't send the video. Good on you. Getting back to the gentleman at hand.
So on his Facebook page today, and admittedly I don't troll his Facebook, but his career went away from the AFL and into the CFA, the Country Fire Authority in Victoria, and he has become an officer in the CFA, and by the sounds of it, quite a senior operator. Now, he's just a fraction older than me, but on his Facebook, posted 20 hours ago now, on Monday I will depart Victoria with an amazing team of fire and emergency management specialists to assist the United States for around 34 days. The situation in many parts of North America is dire, with thousands of buildings destroyed, tens of thousands of people displaced and or evacuated, and fire behaviour is increasingly being described as unprecedented and uncontrollable. I plan to share what I can within limits I'll be required to work within. I hope my experience here can assist communities there, and I also hope that my experience in the US might help others here to prepare for another fire season that will come along all too soon. So I just wanted to make mention of Mark Gunning. He lives in Victoria. That crew of 34 people that he will be heading out with, and he will be quite senior in that team. These are people who have fought some of the fiercest fires in Victorian bushfire history, and who have been involved in many of the other huge fires around Australia when, as is so often required, interstate help comes in to share the load in New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, West Australia, wherever it happens to be. So my hat's off to Mark. It is a very, very dangerous thing that they go and do. I'm not sure whether or not Mark is out there parachuting into the heart of the flames these days, or controlling groups and organising fire plans and that kind of thing, because he always was very good with setting up plans for things. So my hat's off to you, mate, and thank you for your service. I think it's very important. And I'd like to hear of other people's local heroes, people who have gone on that you went to school with and you maybe never given another thought to for many, many years. And I know, although Mark's been a friend on Facebook, we don't talk, we don't chat. We had a bit of a conversation some time ago as I asked about his sister, and she's in Canada, married, happy, having a great time these days. So, but we don't talk, but it's interesting to follow posts of old friends and just see what they're doing, and some of them, as it turns out, are doing really important things for people in this world. It's great to see. It makes me feel ashamed I treated him the way I did. So, anyway, just to give you an idea, there's the sort of fires that are going on in America at the moment, and Canada by the looks of it. So absolutely huge, unprecedented fires. So wild times ahead. What else have I got for you? I got very excited this morning, mate. I woke up because they said Gitmo TV was launched by President Trump. I've been looking all day. But it says in a move that has the world on edge, President Trump has officially activated Gitmo TV, the global broadcasting headquarters house made famous by Guantanamo Bay, or infamous. The former Gitmo, once the site of enemies of the state, is now a new seat of truth and freedom. A massive eagle statue stands watch over the Iron Gate as lightning cracks across a stormy sky. Inside the prison complex, President Trump can be seen in his signature blue jacket, back to the camera, staring out at the horizon in a determined expression. Warning, the EBS will be activated in August. Patriots, be ready, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah, the usual.
No, well, I am not dismissing the whole idea of the EBS being activated in August. I'm not sure if I've told you, you haven't been awake a lot during the day in the last few weeks, and I'm not quite sure what I've covered with you, but I have told a few people, and I'll say it again on the program now. I did say it some time ago, but I got a download some time ago that had a whole heap of dates in it. And I'm the kind of person who doesn't like dates too much. I tend to dismiss them out of hand and not remember them. Nothing I find remarkable about them, other than how remarkable it will be when nobody wants to talk about those dates after they've passed. One date has stuck with me, and that date has been August 24. Now, the download that I got was that Donald Trump will leave that day. Now, what does Donald Trump will leave that day mean? That could mean that he is assassinated. It could mean that he has a heart attack and is disabled in some way, so medically disabled, so he can't continue. Or it could mean that there is some other mechanism that has come into play, like Amendment 25 of the Constitution, where they can remove a president because his mental health is waning.
Yeah, right. Like they really use that. Let's just
Alex
go back
Jones,
3 years.
Alex Jones is screaming for it at the moment.
Why?
Alex Jones is screaming for Trump's removals. Well, Tucker Carlson is not screaming. Well, I don't know that the circumstances may have changed. I haven't seen Tucker in a couple of days, but last he wasn't screaming for Trump's removal, but he is certainly raising the question. So is Megyn Kelly. A lot of those big early Trump supporters are asking just how crazy is this guy. Look what's going on in Iran. Yes, we have a talks. Yes, we have a settlement. Yes, the straits are open. No, we don't. No, they're not. Something blew up. They blew something up. We blew a lot more of their shit up than they blew up of our shit. Oh, look, they're ringing us now. No, we're not ringing them. Yes, they're ringing us now. They want talks. No, we don't want talks. I mean, there's so much shit going down with this. And all the time, we're being distracted away from what's, I believe, really happening. And there is a great deal happening in the financial world. Thanks to AinsleyBullion.com.au, I would whiz on tonight and grab a little bit of that if I could. It has jumped $10 in the last week or so, and it is likely on the indications of this afternoon that up is where it's going. Now, we've been told that up is where it's going to go when the financial markets do their thing. Well, the American markets are doing their thing at the moment. They're having a crap fight, and they're worried. So what looks like happening with gold and silver at the moment is it looks like they're acting like they normally would when the market people get worried, the investors get worried, they pull their money out of their stocks and they put it into gold and silver again. And it appeared, to me at least, like that's what's been happening slowly over the last few days. So keep an eye on that. And if you want to be involved and you missed the boat last time, AinsleyBullion.com.au, you can use my name and get a little bit of a discount, and maybe that allows you to buy a little bit more. Vincenzo, remember what it was like back when COVID was around and you were able to go to a comedy club, and all
Where
they
they
would
weren't
do is
able
tell
to.
jokes about people who didn't get jabbed, who had a little tin hat on their head, and who weren't dealing with the science very well. Do you remember those times?
Yeah, mate, look, the one thing I do have to say, at that particular time in life, I didn't need to wear a tin hat because I'm automatically reflective.
Very good, very good. You should take the place with this guy. At any rate, seems one of those comedians has got back
So
on
mad I
stage.
got the vaccine. I'm so fucking mad I got it. Now everything, my heart, I go, my heart, my heart, my heart. No matter what, if I feel something, I feel a fucking vaccine, motherfucking bitch. They made it too fast, bro. That vaccine, we're working on we have the vaccine. Remember that? I said, you're not gonna fucking test it? Are you gonna fucking test it at all? Oh, where's the test? The vaccine hasn't even been out a year, dude. Now I gotta fucking take it and hope for the best. I'm glad I got Moderna at least. You remember Johnson & Johnson? They didn't even fucking test that one. They put it out. We made baby powder. They'll trust it. Put it out! Put it out! We're losing to Pfizer, motherfucker. Put it out! Fraud. Pharmaceutical companies can suck a big old dick, bro. You gotta get booster. They just fucking get rid of inventory. You gotta get booster. And it didn't have to be 2 shots. You know it didn't have to be 2 shots. Because I got that first shot, dude. I got the first shot. Woo! I fucking felt good, motherfucker. I felt good, brother. I was out there. I had a little skip to my step. I was enunciating my words a little bit better. I'm pretty sure that first.
At any rate, you get the idea. Not terribly happy.
You missed the key part. The key part at the end. He was pretty sure that first shot was vitamin B12.
That's right, yeah. Pretty sure the first shot was B12. Beg your pardon, did cut it off. Well, the dog fart got me.
I saw that. I saw the can come out, and I thought, you know, all that planning and teaching and training of those dogs to do it right there, smack in the middle of your show, it paid off.
You know what I think could be playing a role?
Ah, yeah. You're spoiling them too much.
Well, I haven't had one since yesterday. So I think what was just delivered was yesterday's.
Right, okay. Yep.
It's enough to make
moving
your eyes
on.
water.
See, we've got comedians that are now having a fair old shot at the last pandemic. What about the future one that's coming?
Well, the future pandemic is bird flu, of course. And there are many people considering what they're going to do with their chooks and whatever else they have in their backyard.
Yeah.
Well, it does appear we do have something to worry about here.
Australia's birds have been ordered into an immediate national lockdown.
Let's be clear. It's a flockdown.
Right. As authorities desperately attempt to contain the spread of bird flu, which has now been discovered in birds. Under the emergency restrictions, all birds must wear masks and stay 3.5 metres apart at all times. Leading the national flockdown is former Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews.
Don't be a silly goose. Unless you are a goose, in which case, continue being a goose. Just do it 3.5 metres away from the next goose.
And controversy has already erupted after a massive outbreak at Plucker Squawk Fest, where Big Bird was identified as a super spreader after spreading his wings like a sicko in the mosh pit.
It's just beautiful, isn't it? I think that's just awesome.
That is a classic. Credits, kudos, and 100% well done to the person who edited that, made it, generated it, whatever they did. They had the idea of putting it together. Even if they used AI,
100%.
that was 100% well done.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Now, I know a lot of you are a bit concerned about the upcoming census. You can fill the census in online now if you so desire. The other day, I think I told you that I wrote to the census office with a complaint about Christianity not being listed. Pardon me. I got a reply today. It says, "Hello, thank you for contacting us about the 2026 census. Following an extensive public consultation and testing process, the 2026 census will include the same religious affiliation question, wording, and response options from the 2021 census." I don't remember talking about it then, but I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
did.
it was. You had to put Christian in manually in the 2021. I remember that.
And so they haven't bothered changing it, and here's the reason why. The question asks, what is the person's religion? To make a more significant change to the religious affiliation question, the ABS would have required a more extensive testing program than was possible in the 26 census timeframes. I'm just... how much more extensive testing would you need to have Christian added, really? Anyway, further evidence would be required to fully assess the impact of a redesigned question on the ability of people to understand it, are you Christian or not, and provide an accurate answer. All right, so they're saying that Christians wouldn't be able to tell they were Christians, and there's probably an argument for that, if I'm honest, given what we were saying last night in the show. Many people don't identify as Christian, but they live their life in a Western Christian democracy under Western Christian values, which they adhere to without really understanding they're based on the Ten Commandments. Or, if you want to think about it, on Magna Carta and the Articles of Magna Carta. 1215, I would like to think. But anyway, I digress. We also need to ensure we can adequately support data users who need to compare religious affiliation data from the 2026 census with previous censuses. The top 10 responses to the religious affiliation question from the 2021 census, including no religion, are listed on the form. You can choose your religion from the list or write your religion in the free text field. If your religion or the level of detail you want to provide about your religion is not listed, there is additional instructional and explanatory text on the census form to help you respond accurately. The ABS adopts this approach to make it as easy as possible for people to complete the census. If you can't find information you're looking for, visit the census website or give us a call so we can ignore you personally. How nice of them. My friend thinks he's Christian because he is Catholic. Well, he can tick the Catholic box because that is listed. The Catholic box is there for you to tick. Here are the boxes. If you are their version of Christian, you can be a Catholic, an Anglican, or a Church of England. You can be a Presbyterian. You can be a United Church person, or you can be a Baptist. But what happens if you are from, the tree-hugging, sap-dripping Church of God of the tree under the trees, which is affiliated with Christianity? What happens if you are a Pentecostal church? What happens if you are... I hesitate to say Seventh-day Adventist because I'm not sure they're Christians. Do they believe the same sort of thing? I don't know. But it also extends to Jews. There are no Jews, and I would fight for Jews to be listed there just as evenly as Islam, Hindu, Buddhism, Presbyterianism, and Baptism. Baptistism. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Christians are anybody who believes that Christ is the Savior. So it doesn't matter whether you're going Church of England, Roman Catholic, etc. Judaism or the Jews, they do not believe Christ was Savior, but a messenger. So they don't follow the second half of the Bible. So in that respect, they differ from Christians. So therefore, they should have their own slot on the census.
Yeah, our non-practicing Christians, even if they don't recognize themselves as non-practicing Christians, just non-adherents to religion, are non-practicing Christians who live day by day under Christian Western values. Thou shalt not kill, thou shall not, covet thy neighbour's wife, thou shall not steal, but don't go to church, don't read the Bible, don't, say grace over a meal. But they are loosely, broadly speaking, still living under Christian Western values. They should, in my opinion, be writing Christian into the box. There are 9.9 million people in the last election who didn't identify as any kind of religion, because no religion was once again at the top there to tick. It's the easiest box to tick. And if you look, this came up in our discussion with Malibu, if you look, it is highlighted. It's out there by itself, right at the very top. There is a bigger gap between no religion and then Catholic and Anglican. Do you notice the change? Even with a second line put in with Church of England, then you're starting to see the same level of separation between no religion and Catholic. But Islam, Hindu, Uniting, Buddhism, all of them together. But no religion has a second line added to it and is separated in hierarchy again on the list.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequence of you ticking no religion is that you're going to get a mosque at the end of your street. Or you're going to get an influx of new Africans with really, really good machete skills moving into a new development that you thought was going to remain parkland for the rest of your life. A new resort, a new development. Because that's what's happening now in Sydney, in Melbourne. On the Gold Coast, they arrested a 16-year-old boy with a machete over a foot long the other night. Or it was daylight the other day. A foot-long machete, 16-year-old kid wandering the streets of the Gold Coast. They have shark bait hooks half a kilometre off the beaches in the Gold Coast. A great place for those sorts of people if they want to go out with a machete and try themselves. Just put them near there for a while. See how good they are keeping the sharks away from them. Not going to hurt anything or anybody. But yeah, bloody awful, some of these things. And yet we could stop it, Vince. How would we stop it? How do we stop being the kinds of people that we are? How do we stop the government doing what they're doing to us?
Okay, well, part of this is it's a combination of government and family, in all fairness. We used to be able to, and going way back, parents used to be able to discipline their kids the way they needed to discipline their kids to learn the ground rules and where the rules are and do not cross this line. All right, since the government started interfering with that and not letting you give your son a good solid smack across the arse or whatever, that started making it harder to discipline. I can remember a kid swearing at my ex-wife at one stage from across the road, called her all sorts of names. Of course, I bolted across the road and confronted him, right, which you're not supposed to do, obviously.
No.
And he just looked at me and said, "You can't do nothing because I got my rights."
Yeah.
Right. And he was being a smug little arsehole. It was really funny. I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but when I accidentally fall on you and put an elbow into your ribs, it was purely an accident. You should have seen the change in his face." But I didn't say it with that sort of, I said it with some anger.
Yeah.
And his whole face changed. All right. The stranger's accidentally going to fall on him and hurt him. But it was an
I had
accident.
some little shits following me in a supermarket one day trying to ankle tap me while I was walking along. I must have been going a bit slow for them. I could hear their talking in the background. And, so I'm sort of slouching along, and one of them tried to ankle tap me, and they were doing it on every right step. as my right leg came back, they were trying to tap it as it was coming through. So I just hesitated with my right foot up in the air, stopped my momentum and went backwards and trapped his foot under mine as I came down rather forcefully right on the top of his foot, where I pinned it for a while I apologised for standing on his foot. Oh, geez, I'm sorry about that. Oh, geez, he's going, get off, get off, get off. And I was, oh, mate, I'm really sorry. You know, it's, oh, get off, get off. Little shit. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Getting-
a lot of these kids haven't got that. They haven't had that sort of discipline put in front of them, which is really unfortunate. And I think the government and society is a combination of that. So, I mean, I was listening to something on one of the news reports, and I thought to myself, if my son did that, he'd be dead. You know, because I would have clouted him so hard he'd been smashed up against the wall.
Yeah.
But my kids are good in that respect. They don't do that. Do other things I don't agree with, but I can't do anything about that. But anyway.
No, there's so much we can't do anything about. Now, folks, before we shoot off tonight, we were talking about the census. If you don't want to do it, may I commend to you, go to vofhq.com, and on the front page you will find this letter. I would copy it, I would paste it, and I would potentially email it to the Australian statistician, David Gruen. It would also be good if you copied it, pasted it onto a bit of paper, and sent it by snail mail to Locked Bag 10, Belconnen ACT 2617. Now, this letter is mildly extensive. Have we got time, do you think, if I read it, Vince?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. This is just a suggestion. I'm writing, dear Dr. Gruen, I'm writing in response to the Commonwealth's request that I provide my personal information for the 26 census. I acknowledge that the Commonwealth Parliament enact the Census and Statistics Act 1905 pursuant to Section 51 whatever that is, 11 of the Australian Constitution, which empowers Parliament to make laws with respect to census and statistics. I also acknowledge why that power exists. Independent national statistics are essential to informed public policy, democratic accountability, and good government. It is because statistics serve that public purpose that Parliament claims the authority to compel Australians to disclose personal information they would otherwise be entitled to keep private. That authority, however, carries with it a corresponding responsibility. Australians are entitled to expect that their national statistical agency will exercise its functions with complete independence, methodical rigour, and a willingness to examine evidence wherever it leads, particularly where government policy has profound consequences for the nation. It is with that confidence which I have lost. It is that confidence which I have lost. During 2020 to 2022, Australian governments exercised an unprecedented degree of control over the daily lives of their citizens. Businesses were closed, movement and association were restricted, healthcare services were substantially disrupted, screening programs were suspended, elective surgery was deferred, and access to medical care was fundamentally altered. During this time period, governments implemented an unprecedented population-wide rollout of novel injectable medical products. These events represented one of the most significant public policy interventions in Australia's modern history. If there was ever a period demanding rigorous and independent statistical examination, this was surely it. The ABS subsequently published mortality statistics demonstrating that all-cause mortality rose substantially during 2022 and remained elevated during 2023. Those figures were extraordinary by any historical measure. Rather than prompting what I expected would be comprehensive statistical analysis, I observed changes in the presentation of mortality reporting that, in my view, made long-term comparisons less straightforward. Baseline comparisons changed. Greater emphasis was placed upon age-standardised measures. The methodology for estimating expected mortality was revised. I accept that statistical methodologies evolve, but I would have expected stability, transparency, and comparability to be given the highest priority during a period of historically elevated all-cause mortality. As Australia's preeminent statistical authority, I believe the ABS should have led the objective examination of these mortality patterns and ensured that both researchers and the public could readily understand what the data was showing. Instead, I was left with the impression that understanding those trends became progressively more difficult. Where national data sets revealed exceptional departures from long-established patterns, I believe Australians are entitled to expect that every plausible contributor reflected in those data sets will be examined with equal diligence. That includes disruption to healthcare services, delayed diagnosis and treatment, demographic change, infectious disease, the population-wide administration of a novel injectable medical product, behavioural changes, and any other variables capable of influencing mortality outcomes. Whether any particular explanation is ultimately confirmed or rejected is almost beside the point. Confidence depends upon knowing that every reasonable statistical question has been examined openly and without institutional reluctance to explore uncomfortable possibilities. Statistics exist to help society understand uncertainty, not to narrow legitimate inquiry. It is for that reason that I no longer have sufficient confidence that the constitutional purpose underlying compulsory statistical collection is presently being fulfilled in the manner Australians are entitled to expect. I do not write this because I oppose statistics. Quite the contrary. Independent statistical institutions are among the most important safeguards in a democratic society. When governments exercise extraordinary powers affecting every Australian, the need for an independent statistical authority becomes greater, not less. The Commonwealth asks Australians to trust the ABS with some of their most personal information. Parliament may compel disclosure under the law, but it cannot compel public confidence. That confidence is earned by demonstrating independence, transparency, and the willingness to follow the evidence wherever it leads. At present, I no longer possess that confidence. Until it's restored, I respectfully decline to provide my personal information for the reasons set out above. I would welcome a considered response addressing the matters raised in the letter. Yours sincerely. What do you think, Vince?
Comprehensive. Very comprehensive. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to that. I know that they changed statistics with the death, for instance. I did pop in there, still 23, 22, 23, and 24. But I know that the ABS, because I used to use it as one of my tools, I know they changed the way that they calculated the current excess deaths so that you couldn't get to the proper screens or averages anymore from the previous 5 years to the next 5 years. So therefore you couldn't calculate the statistics for the above normal death rate. And there's a whole heap of things that they did like that they changed that took away our ability to gain the relative information as it should be using the proper statistics. So the argument in the letter in that respect, I believe, is correct.
So I didn't write that, folks, but the author of that did give me permission to share it and to post it on the website, and for you to copy and paste it and send it if you so desire. Now, who are you going to send it to? Well, there is an email address that I would think would be the better thing to send it to, and I'm posting that into the comments right now. Complaints@abs.gov.au. You just
There's
put your name at the
also-
bottom of it. I beg yours?
Also, at the very top, in the main bar across the top on the web page, is the actual email address directly to David Grun.
Oh, is it?
Yep,
Oh,
right on the
maybe
very
it's
top of the
the wrong
page.
I can see the X39 right at the very top of the page.
Yeah, come down and in the heading on the page.
Oh, yes, David Gruen at abs.gov.au. Beg
Yep.
your pardon. So, yes, david.gruen at abs.gov.au. Beg your pardon, Vince. That's a better one to choose. And I wouldn't go, if you are going to the ABS website, there is another web page there that is a complaints-related thing, but you get to fill in their form. The form won't let you post that or paste that and copy that thing in there. So, yes, I would send it directly to david.gruen at abs.gov.au. Put your name underneath it. I'm not sure that the author wants me to mention their name. I forgot to ask. But you let me just say, folks, you will be very surprised maybe to learn the author's name. This person has been accused of all sorts of things over the course of the last 4 or 5 years or more. And I think without mentioning their name, if you found value in that letter, you should use it. And just know that it's come from to some of you, what might be an unexpected source. I personally don't think it's too unexpected whatsoever. Now, before we go, and as I do owe you, well, probably the better part of an extra hour this week, I do have a couple of interesting things still left to share with you. When I asked you how do we stop things complying, you went off on a 107 answer, which went on for I don't know how long. I was really just getting to a point to introduce us to a how do we stop complying. Well, it seems it's as easy as following
This is a
the
horse
horses.
inside a horse walker, a machine built to keep him walking in circles all day. One day, he figures out the machine only works if he keeps cooperating with it. The machine never stopped running, and the horse just stopped believing he had to. He took his power back. Humans face the same choice every day. Sometimes the biggest prison isn't the system around us. It's the belief that we have no choice but to keep walking in circles. Many of us spend our entire lives running in circles, chasing money, status, and approval without ever asking who told us we had to. Sometimes freedom begins the moment you realize the machine only works if you keep participating. The moment you realize you don't have to keep walking in circles, the machine doesn't disappear. You just stop giving it control over your direction. This is a horse inside a horse.
Excited? I like what he has to say there. Let's not be the horse, or maybe let's be the horse. Stop walking and get out into the paddock. There has been a lot of talk about immigration, the numbers of immigrants coming to the country, where those immigrants are coming from. Clearly, there are certain nations that are highly overrepresented. And this next piece I'm going to play you is 3 minutes long, nearly 4 minutes long, but it is from a lady who has received an email from an Indian who has come to Australia some time ago and become an Australian, got Australian citizenship and started a business, got a job, did all these things. And now that person is extremely concerned about the immigration policies.
I have received another private message, and I think everybody needs to hear what this person has to say. Hi, I am a proud Australian, originally Indian immigrant. I support One Nation primarily because my job and all future jobs are in danger. I work in the public sector and I am the only Australian in my job. All others, and I mean all of my colleagues, being on 482, 485 or bridging visa. These are all post-COVID students who overstayed their visa by converting to skilled migrants temporary and waiting to become permanent residents. My manager is the newest recruit, being on a working holiday visa. This, a government laboratory, and half the people I work with, including the manager, have zero science background. They only got the job because someone who already works here referred them. These people bring their own third world work culture to Australia and yet are being given preferential treatment. As a result, all Australians have either quit or were let go because some migrant colleague reported them falsely. Our university researchers, academics, scientists, laboratory technicians are all being replaced strategically by this government. Why do I not see one Australian being recruited? Why is every new recruit on some kind of visa? My experience of 10 plus years and my skills hold no value in front of a new migrant without any experience. It's not just me. I recently met an Australian lady with 30 years of experience who had applied for a job in my laboratory. However, the job was offered to a migrant with zero background, let alone experience. These migrants refer people from their community and create a lobby within the workplace that then goes against Australians. I have heard horrific things coming from their mouths. Anyway, my job is in danger. My future jobs are in danger because this will happen in all workplaces, and my child's job is in danger. How can young Australians afford houses if they are left jobless? I adapted to the Australian way of life, and now suddenly I have to unadapt only to suit new migrants. There is no model work culture or ethic because everyone from top to bottom is a migrant.
There you go.
Hang on, everybody has to turn down their sound because that was so low nobody could hear it.
Yes, I do apologise. I meant to adjust that sound before I fed that in, and I got waylaid this afternoon and forgot about it. So that's as it turned up to me, a pretty shitty quality of it. So I apologise, and hopefully you've got the sound back at a reasonable level. I've got a couple of other things to show you as we head into the weekend. There's been some interesting questions raised about fast foods in the world. Junk food, toxic compounds used to make industrial tubing and rubber gloves found in 80% of McDonald's, Burger King and Pizza Hut food. Dangerous chemicals are linked to asthma, infertility, smaller testicles. Made me read further. What's really happening? Ultra-processed fast food. The fast food is often criticised for its high levels of salt, sugar and unhealthy fats, but another topic that's gained increasing attention in recent years is chemicals that can enter food from packaging and food processing materials. Scientists continue to study how some of these substances may affect human health, particularly after long-term exposure. Which chemicals are being studied? Researchers have investigated several groups of compounds, including the phthalates, the bithymethylbutanols, and the PFAS. There is a good study worth reading, but it's full of words I can't figure out. What it does do, though, is changes in hormone function, potential effects on the reproductive health of males and females, and there are developmental concerns during pregnancy and early childhood. If you have ever seen a video of a McDonald's Happy Meal that is 20 years old and looks for all the money just as healthy as the McDonald's Happy Meal that you bought 5 minutes ago, there's a reason for that. And that's because of the chemicals that are involved in every facet of that meal. And if you've been shoving it into yourself for so long, well, maybe I can help you get over.
This is the real Ronald McDonald, not the one you remember from commercials. The smell of red paint, the silence of 12 missing children. In 1892, a drifter named Ronald McDonald toured county fairs across the Midwest. Bright red coat, yellow waistcoat, white gloves to the elbows, a painted smile so wide it cut into his cheeks. He called his tent the Happy Meal. Admission was free for children. Inside, the light was dim. The air smelled of sweet bread and varnish. Each child got a small paper box, red, with a yellow emblem brushed on the side. Inside, a soft bun, a slice of cold meat, a hand-carved wooden toy, and a card. eat up. Come back tomorrow. Parents saw nothing wrong, but children stepped out pale and silent. Some wouldn't eat for days. Some wouldn't speak at all. By summer's end, 12 children had vanished from towns where his tent appeared. When the law searched his wagon, they found it empty, except for a crate of red paint, yellow cloth, and dozens of unused paper boxes. 20 years later, an advertising company in Chicago bought an old fairground poster to inspire a new mascot for a growing restaurant chain. They kept the name, they kept the colors, they kept the smile, and every time you've seen it since, you've been looking at a killer's face.
And of course, if you've ever seen how McDonald's meat products are made, there is a certain pink sludge that's added into everything, including, I think, the ice cream. Nobody's been able to identify that. Many have tried. So there you go. If that doesn't cure you, I don't know what possibly else. Well, I do know what possibly else could, but I don't have video of it yet. There's talk about it coming, trust me. What else? I do have... Actually, no, I don't. I think I've come to the end of the things I was going to show you all this week. Oh, no. There was a Space Force warning. Now, this is serious. The US Space Force, Galactic Federation and SpaceX have released the following statement. To the citizens of the USA and surrounding continents, what you are about to learn will not only shock you, but will change your entire life as you know it forever. Please do not panic. Now, down the bottom, if we took the ticker off, let me take the ticker off. Where's the ticker? There's the ticker. Oh, good, right. You can see the date there, 8/4/26, 4th of August, American time. A lot of interesting things have happened in the US since the 4th of August. Those things are happening in regard to the Congress. There has been movement today publicly on Anthony Fauci, and he has now been held in contempt of Congress. The vote went through on party lines, so I think it was 8-5, and now it has been progressed to the Department of Justice, the DOJ, and there they will decide whether or not to prosecute, and there are grounds to prosecute Fauci for failing to answer 111 congressional questions when he fronted them just last week or the week before. So haven't seen or heard the end of that distraction yet. Keep it going. And just put a little asterisk on August 24. I think we started out talking about that, and I'm not sure if I got to the end of it. Did I get to the end of it? Hello, Vince? Are you talking? You might be talking, but we're not hearing you. At any rate, I'll tell you again.
My microphone off. Sorry, there seems like there's an extra voice appearing behind yours. I've been trying to figure out where it's coming from, whether it's me or whether you've got another tab open doing something. But
I'm trying to see if I have another tab open doing things. I'll just close a lot of tabs that are sitting on this shelf. I don't know how that would be coming through because I'm not sharing, or maybe
it could be just me.
But
anyway, while you're busily, now that I've assigned him a task, it's going to take him a half an hour. Please remember to like and subscribe to the show. And like Carl always never does, right? We need to look at you, please, either donating or buying some merch so you get something from it so that we can actually afford to keep things running. It's getting in harder and harder and harder all the time to actually keep the enough dollars in the accounts just to pay for hosting, to pay for the StreamYard software that we show. There's no way that we can even look at getting the bus back on the road with the amount that we actually receive through YouTube. So we need you to go out and throw out and share our YouTube channel. So please, we have multiple ways in which you can assist us. And you know, if I'm not going to be around all the time to help things out the way I've been feeling lately. So every assistance that you can give to Carl will be much appreciated. So please go ahead and do that. Donate, buy some merch. You know where to find it. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Yes, I've got to say we do have a telephone bill and internet connection bill that has to be paid by the 9th. And I had hoped that we would have got some money in this week, and it hasn't turned up, to be honest. So there's $364 we've got to find before the 9th. Otherwise, there won't be any internet to give you a show on. Anyway, back to the 24th of August. This download I had said Trump has to be gone by then. Why does Trump have to be gone by then? Well, I don't believe any of the arrests of the key players in the fraud that's been perpetrated over the last decade or more with Obama, Clinton and co. can progress forward while Trump is in office. The download I got said Trump will be gone on the 24th, whether that means he's assassinated or taken out by some other means, whether it be a medical or whatever. And that means that J.D. Vance would then be stepped up and would be free to prosecute using all the evidence that has come to light regarding the fraud that was perpetrated against the electorate in 2020. Now, that data is now freely available. The Democrats may not want you to see it, but it is all there. And guess what? Anybody who doubted that Biden won that election was right, was very right to doubt it. And all the evidence of how they stole that election is available to be seen. It needs to be admitted to by a great many people. So there won't be too many people who will admit it. And if Donald Trump, who has been trying to get people to see this evidence now for some weeks, if he were to prosecute the case against Obama and the Clintons, it would look like sour grapes. Can you understand the left media in America? They would just say, dismiss it completely. The Democrats would be all over it just as sour grapes. However, if Trump is out of the picture, whether he is incapacitated through health or a bit of lead, then J.D. Vance is free to prosecute and move forward on the facts, on the evidence. None of the other bullshit noise about Trump doing it for Trump or ticking a box for Trump. None of that works if Donald Trump is dead or otherwise medically incapacitated and out of the presidential scene, so to speak. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen on the 24th, but that's the download that I got. And it's the only one that stuck with me. And given what we are seeing an uplift in the metals markets. We are seeing the prices start to go higher. We are seeing severe changes in the financial system. We are seeing a world war, or a war that is on again, off again, up again, down again. It's for all the money looking more like a shit show than any kind of a war. And what is it exposing? It's exposing the players for who and what they are. Now, if that's Donald Trump, the warmonger or the war hawk, if that's Bibi Netanyahu and the crimes that he and his Zionists are committing against the rest of the Middle East, so be it. And what if all that blows up? Well, we lose Bibi and we might lose Donald Trump in the middle of it. But what we will wind up with then is a very dedicated bunch of people with Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth in America who are going to go forth and conduct what I think will be a monumental clean-out. And we will see arrests for treason and sedition and all sorts of other things. Thank you, everybody, for those donations. Sab, thank you very much. Really appreciate everything you have done for us over time. And Aussie Sue, thank you for your donation too. God love you. Have yourselves a great weekend, folks. If you want to donate, you can. As Vince said, you can go to vofhq.com/donate, or you can go to merch.vofhq.com/shop and have a look at what we've got there. We will be putting up a few more stickers for the cups or on cups. I've got some sticker ideas. And if you are looking for what is, I think, the best hoodie we've put out yet warmth-wise, which displays Vincenzo's artwork, both for the FBN logo and the Voice of Freedom logo. You'd think he'd be happier about that, getting a plug like that, but, you know.
He
show
is
a
not
smile.
feeling 100%. So understand
All right.
if you're looking at the hoodies, you can get one with VOF on the back and you can get one with FBN on the back. So you can choose which one you want on the back and the front. And also you have the full range of colors on both of those designs. So, and yes, I will get the new cup up there shortly.
Very, 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 very good.
I'm going to
interested
do
in
this.
that, Lizzie Lou. You're going to do that?
Bye. Well, actually,
off you go.
Live long and prosper.
Yes, well, as I keep
You
saying,
mannered me wrong.
See you, bud. He hasn't been feeling well. Oh, all right. Put himself off. He can do whatever he likes. And as for you, you do whatever you like. The weekend is upon us, and I trust you will go out and do some great things. If you would like to do a little bit of thinking about life, the universe, and everything, maybe you can think about this. Now, I haven't put the full document up because it's 217 pages. However, I do have a document that we will talk about next week. That is provided I get enough time to read all 217 pages of it. This is the document. I think we've been through this before, and I may have already read this document, but I'm going to go back through it and have a bit of a refresh. The highest court of the God of all creations, criminal trial, divine light, holy council, courts of heaven, prosecutors, all of God Creator's creations which are in service to him, known as your people, versus the accused, defendants, and enemies named herein. And I can tell you, there are a lot of them named herein. Pages and pages and pages of them named herein. This is where I grabbed the we repent part from, and there is quite a few bits in it. But I want to have a bit of a read before I talk further upon it, and I just hope I'll put that one up at the end of the screen tonight, or at the end of the show tonight, so you can get another look at it. But I think it's something we should all be thinking about, just between you, me, and the gatepost. We can always repent for the sins that we have committed, and beg forgiveness for the ones we wish on others, particularly if they're being a dickhead on the road. Be safe. See ya.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!